Hey, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to Nation's Corner. I am Front Row. Joining me, as always, is Debhausen, the Great and Powerful, and the greatest truck driver of all time, Tony Justice. What's up, people?
What's happening?
What's going on?
Well, I'm battling allergies, so I'll have to ask your forgiveness tonight. I'm going to try not to cough into the microphone.
You may be forgiven.
The pollen is awful here. You wash the car,
I'm
an hour later, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But tonight we have a special guest. We're going to be joined by Melanie Romero from Mission Pro Wrestling to talk all things GCW Collective and Bangers Only pay-per-view next week. And she's going to bring us up to speed with all the cool things that they have going on. But I know that I wanted to just touch base with you guys and see how your weeks were. Deb, what were you up to this week?
Work mostly. The new job is going really great. It's like zero stress, and I get some extra time in the afternoon to sit there and at my desk and tweet about wrestling. So it's nice.
0.0. I've been good, man. I've just been driving. You know what I've been doing? Just delivering justice everywhere.
That's right.
That's all I do. You know?
That's what you do.
Yep.
So just to pull the curtain back a little bit, Tony was showing us the other night. He was parked in his truck, and there was a guy trying to back into a spot. And it was the most entertaining thing I've seen in forever. Like, this guy was just he was struggling, man. I don't know how he didn't hit at least 3 trucks making that happen, but
yeah,
God bless him.
Not everyone can be the greatest truck driver of all time.
That is very true.
That title is reserved for one person, and you're looking at him, brother.
That is very true.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get to all the good stuff. We're going to talk some AEW Dynamite and Rampage and all the good stuff that happened in the world of wrestling. But first, let's welcome to the show Melanie from Mission Pro Wrestling. Let's see if we bring Melanie in here. Melanie, welcome.
Melanie, what's going on?
Hello.
Gonna unmute myself. Hello, guys. How is everybody today?
Yeah, unmute.
We are well.
Fantastic.
Good. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, right?
Oh yeah, it has.
So
we
we want to ask you a bunch of questions about Mission Pro, but I want to get your perspective on, Tony and my wife Shannon and I traveled to Texas last week to be at Dynamite, and we were with you for that historic event. What was that event like for you?
Well, it was a major event for 2 reasons. One, of course, Thunder Rosa is going to be in this amazing, cage match. We're trying to see what's going to go happen. And then second, it was my son's first ever major, wrestling event. So it was just like so special in so many ways. He got like, this is a guy, my kid is a kid who is never shy, always like me, outspoken. And he was nervous. Like, he was quiet and just like big eyeballs taking it all in. And I realized I was kind of like the same way. I was like, first of all, we're sitting front row. I mean, let's face it, that will never happen again, I'm sure. But Thunder's amazing, and the family, the Rosa family is amazing, and they invited me, which I'm so appreciative of their family. But man, it was just a special moment from beginning to end. I mean, it was magical.
Yeah, I think at one point I looked over and you expressed some concern about your son's being nervous. And he was so into everything.
Yeah.
And Brian and Tony and I just sort of looked at him and like, oh, he's good. He's having a good time.
Yeah. As soon as it started, man, he just started getting into it. He was standing up. He's like, can I stand up? And I was like, yeah, buddy, you're not going to be blocking anybody. So he was standing up. He was cheering. I think at one point somebody, I forgot who it was, got knocked into, I think maybe it was Sting, got knocked into the guardrail where we're at. And he's like, I could have died. And I'm like, no, I got you, buddy. It's good. He's like, he made some joke about my old lady reflexes. And I was like, you need to calm down or I'm going to throw you over.
Both times when wrestlers got thrown into the barricade, Brian wasn't paying attention. So he was looking at something else. I was like, Brian, watch out. And his first reaction was to put his hands up. And we had our hands on the barricade. It was awesome.
My first reaction put my feet out. So I was like, I got you guys. I got y'all.
Yeah. You witnessed my Sting moment that he came over and two sweeted me and Albert, which was awesome. He two sweeted not once but twice. It was awesome.
It was awesome. It was such amazing. It's like the whole night was just kind of amazing, just to share it with my son and you guys and everybody. Like the whole Rosa family was just crazy to me. Like it was so surreal that I had to process what exactly happened, and then I told somebody I got emotional the next day because I was such on a high. Like, this is so cool. Like, this is really cool. Then I was like, oh damn, like. I don't know. Like you see someone win a championship in a stadium, you're screaming, you're excited, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, but it's the next day that hits you like, oh damn, that was family that won. Wait a second. Hold on. Yeah. You know, that's somebody who we were just going over the show for next week. That's not, it's just so weird seeing the two, you know what I mean?
Each time we put out a video package for like AEW puts out a video package or something about that, I get emotional because we were there and we got to witness that live and got to celebrate that with her. And it was just amazing. It was an amazing moment. I'll never forget.
It was. And then of course I saw, you know, she came out with the mariachi hat, and I'll give you guys a little backstory on the mariachi hat. So I got that for her. I went around San Antonio, and I was on Google looking around San Antonio for this mariachi hat, and we just happened to be out and about. So I found one. I actually have pictures of my husband. I took pictures of him going, this one or this one, this one or this one. And I'm sending it. We're sending pictures. She's like, no, I want this color. I was like, okay, but this color thread or this color thread? She's like, no, this one. I was like, okay. And then, and I was like, yeah, there's the mariachi hat. We got it for her. It looks great. And then she went, chuck into the audience. And I went, oh.
Well, there goes that.
Goodbye, mariachi hat. It was so nice to know you. So whoever got it, you better appreciate it.
That they will.
Although it looked like someone got smacked with it because that thing was heavy. I was like, bah.
It looked like she had a hard time throwing it. Like it did not fly well.
That was not you know, a cheap hat. That was a very well made hat from Mexico. So it was not meant to fly.
Wow.
Well, hopefully somebody's put it up on their wall and is enjoying it, displaying it proudly.
I hope so. I hope it comes back one day and like she autographs it.
Yes.
Like somebody shows up with it and autographs it, because it was an awesome hat.
Yeah,
it was awesome. It was funny because we were talking on our show on this show last week about how Rampage is taped afterwards, and one of the first matches to come out, you know, the crowd they were there, not a lot of people left, but people were really wiped out after that main event. Yeah. And I saw Sting and Darby Allin have to follow Thunder and Britt, and it was tough. I mean, I said that to Thunder later that night. I said, Sting and Darby had to follow you guys, and it was not an easy task. No. So there's that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I remember one comment that my son made, and it was just like, and it's going to stick in my head. He was like, wait a second. It was Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley in the ring. And he was like, wait. And he kept looking, and he's like, and then he looks at me and he goes, I have their toys. I was like, yeah, you do, buddy. And he's like, oh, like it clicked that he had some of their toys.
Yeah.
Because I know he has Sting as well, but it took him a while to process that those are the guys. I was like, wait a second. So I was like,
that's so
now
sweet.
You get to see him. Yeah. He finally got to see them live. So, and then Jeff Hardy came up to him and gave him a high five. He was just like, what is going on?
Yeah. I saw Jeff Hardy at the first ever WWE live event I ever went to. Well, it was the first ever wrestling event I ever went to.
Yeah.
And like it actually showed up in my Facebook memories not that long ago. I have a picture of him when he did his entrance and he was standing up on the corner of the ring. And just to see him back, I was like, it's like a whole full circle thing in my life.
It's so crazy. Like, listen, and the whole show was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that we talk about too, and Thunder talks about the importance of representation and, you know, being that role model. And we saw waiting in line. We saw so many kids, boys and girls dressed up, face paint, the whole deal. There was that one girl that was like 2 rows over from us in the full Kill Bill outfit, face paint, the whole is awesome. So cool to see that stuff. And I know we've seen on her travel vlogs so many young boys and girls meeting her and what she means to them. So it's cool to see her at the top. Boss Lady's the champ now.
Yep.
Which is awesome. But let's talk a little Mission Pro. So, or from early on, when we first started hearing rumblings that Mission Pro might be part of the collective, I get super excited because I'm a GCW fan. We watch all the shows. They're like such a hot product right now. To be part of the collective weekend is a huge deal in my eyes. And I know, I think you guys probably feel the same.
Oh, absolutely.
So before we talk about the card itself, like what was the process to get sort of added to the card and become part of the weekend?
Oh man, because at first we're very hesitant to run on Mania weekend, just because there's a lot of shows going on. It's a lot of stuff happening. It's crazy. And Mission Pro can get busy already. You guys have seen a little bit behind the scenes. So we were like, is this a task we want to undertake? Being that it was in Texas, like, okay, it's a little bit less of a trek for us. But honestly, I think that it wasn't even us wanting to be part of the collective. I just think that they saw our product. And then, of course, Thunder had done some shows with GCW already that we were asked to be part of the product. And it's like, man, do you say no to that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, and then we as a group kind of were like, should we do this? What are we doing? And that's when we all just went, screw it. Let's do it. Why not? If we fall on our face, fine. But we tried. And so far it's looking pretty good. So
YOLO.
YOLO.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think it's interesting too, because if you look at the placement of your show on the weekend, Josh Barnett is in the middle of a Thursday afternoon, and you guys are in the prime position right in the middle of Saturday. It's like the best spot on the whole GCW weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think it's a great time slot. So, and we're right before WrestleMania as well. So you have time if you guys have tickets, you have time to go to both. I think that, 3:00 on Saturday is it's perfect timing. You can go catch some shows in the morning. You can catch some shows afterwards. Like a lot of us are actually, as soon as our show is done and we're wrapped up, we're half of us, I think, are going to be heading out to the St. Jude's Hall for like Hybrid Mania 2, which is a school that we team up with, Hybrid School of Wrestling. And they have a great card going. Maddie's on it. JP Harlow's on it. So we're like, okay, guys, let's go. Next one,
That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be at the Busted Open party beforehand. And then we're going to be running over to Mission Pro right then. So yeah, we're going to be running around all over the place.
Yeah, it's just going to be so much fun. I told somebody, or we were talking about this, I think. It's like, I would rather spend my money on a bunch of indie shows than one big show. And that's not to knock anything down. It's just that there's so many indie shows going and they're putting in so much heart and soul. And these guys are like, the indies are so hot right now. It's like, man, they're all going to be in Texas. Take my money, guys. Take it all.
Exactly.
After the weekend's over, Thunder's will be like, what happened to your pay? It's gone.
Yeah.
It got recirculated.
That's kind of what I thought too, because we did get tickets for WrestleMania. We're going to be going both nights, but we got the cheapest tickets available when they first went on sale. I said, I don't care where we're sitting. I don't need to be that far down.
Yeah.
We're in the building. It'll be an awesome experience, and that's more money that we can do other things, not just the WrestleMania. It's turning out really well. I'm so excited for next weekend.
Me too.
I think people have their plans, which is awesome. Have your plans in place instead of like me going, I think I'm going to go here and then I'll go here. No, I think I'll be setting up my plan already because, man, it's going to be, you got to have it ready to go from one thing to another.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, we've been planning this for months, trying to figure out our itinerary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the collective weekend, they're selling that package for the whole weekend, but each of the shows you can purchase tickets individually. But I was looking at Mission Pro's tickets, and first and second row are sold out. I think third is almost sold out. Fourth and fifth are very close, and you're pretty soon you're going to have general admission only available until that's not, and it's just sold out entirely. And I think as you get closer to the date, more and more people are making the decision to go to the weekend. And of course, that's going to be the show that people are going to want to go to because you're not running up against anybody, and it is a card that promises to be, like its name says, bangers only. So let's touch a little bit about the card. I do want to jump into the matches, but we had a replacement this week.
We did. So as you guys know, Tasha Steelz just won the Impact Championship. So she is out doing Impact things, and we are very happy for her, and we love her so much. But, it's understandable. Things happen. Things change. Card is always subject to change, right, in wrestling.
Yep.
But then Holiday's like, I got y'all. And she came out. She's like, don't worry, someone's gonna be emailing. And I'm like, okay, who? Not. I was like, who is it? Who is it, Holiday? Why can't you just tell me? But Holiday's in England, and she's gotta, make everything a mystery till I get the email. Just make me wait. So then in my email comes Shazza McKenzie, and I was like, yes, absolutely. I will take her 100% because, I mean, if we get anybody on Bangers Only, it's got to be, I mean, that's got to be, one of the replacements is Shazza. I mean, she's so big right now. And not just that, but she's finally back in the U.S.
Yeah. And 1 year and 2 days ago, she was on your live stream, almost a year to the date. And it was an exciting interview. She's got a good friendship with Maddie Rankowski. It's all virtual, I think, at this point. I don't know if they're actually. So it's going to be interesting to see, even though they're in different matches, if there's going to be any sort of interaction on the pay-per-view. So even as we're focusing on individual matches, who knows what could happen? But Shaz is awesome, and I know that we had promised her a segue. I don't know if that's going to happen. But
I mean, it is in Fair Park. I think we're all going to need a segue.
It's true.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I know, and then it's just awesome because I have to film, and I already told Maddie this, that I have to film her and Shazza first meeting. They're not allowed to see each other until my camera is there because I just think that it's going to be a magical moment. Because I feel like it's one of those pen pal relationships. They've seen each other virtually. They've talked to each other online, Twitter and stuff like that, but it's never been face to face. So I just think that once it's face to face, I think they're done. Shaz is never going to leave.
Yeah, that's the way our group was. We met each other online at the beginning of the pandemic in March 2020 and didn't actually meet in person till May last year. So it was a full year of friendship bonding with all these people until we actually met in person. That day was amazing.
Yeah. With me being a truck driver, I had the opportunity to be like Chris in Baltimore. I was going through Baltimore and I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm going through Baltimore right now. So she met me at the truck stop and we hugged, shared a 5-minute, 10-minute meeting, and then I left. And then, so that's the way it worked for me. But then officially when the world opened back up, Buda, Texas, Mission Pro Locked and Loaded was the first event that we all got to go to. Me in Front Row. That's when we met the first time. So that was an awesome show to meet at too. So
that is an amazing show to meet at. Yeah.
It was a little rainy, a little
wet,
a little bit.
man, when that show started, all of a sudden the clouds parted. They said, "Let there be light."
Yes,
and there was some sunshine.
Mm-hmm. It was like the opening of The Simpsons.
Yes, exactly. Wow. And up until then, it was a bad episode of The Simpsons too.
Yes.
Mission Pro.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get somebody to animate that now.
Yes.
I want to cut. Damn it! I want to cut.
Yeah.
It's wrestling. Nobody gives cuts. Come on now.
Yeah.
Besides, we're sponsors. I think this works the other way around, right?
Yeah, right.
By the way, our turnbuckle pads look amazing. We're super excited every time we see them on screen.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to see them live.
So, I mean, I think we made the comment too. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, a little bit more behind the scenes a little bit, but AEW used the Mission Pro ring when they were in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. And the first thing Brian says when he looks at it is like, hey, those turnbuckles don't look right. I was like, it's true. Let's go get them. I know where they are.
Yeah.
He's like, those aren't the right turnbuckles. Yeah.
There was
sneak one in there.
Someone from the ring crew was walking away from the ring before the show with a stack of turnbuckle pads. And Brian yells to him, hey, are there any Nations Corner in there? Put them back on there. Like, I don't think they could put that on TV.
Yeah.
Would have been pretty cool, though.
Yeah,
appreciate the effort. But
hey, you rented the whole thing. That's part of the ring.
So you mentioned, we got to give a shout out. You mentioned JP earlier, and he was on AEW this week doing a little bit of security work. He's a tough guy, apparently, holding off Wardlow.
I give a shout out to him in the fact that he's also gone up against Andrade on Dark as well. I mean, Andrade is a tough wrestler. He doesn't hold back. He's a luchador. They're taught in they hit. They don't, they don't hold back. So I give props to him for hanging tough with Andrade.
Yeah, real quick, I want to give a shout out to our friend Fiona, who just returned to Scotland from a big week with the NWA. She traveled here for the pay-per-view, the Crockett Cup, and all the tapings. And
that's amazing.
Glad to see she made it home safe. We love you, Fee.
Wow. She was a trooper.
Yeah. But as far as JP goes, like, I think he's got his toughest challenge coming up. Allie Katch is GCW royalty. She's no joke. Death matches, bussy, the whole deal. I know JP's been talking a lot of crap, but I don't know. What are you feeling this is going to go?
Oh, I think that Allie Katch is done with his crap. I think that he's about to have his ass handed to him. And I think that he is unprepared for the whooping he's about to receive. I think that his mouth likes to cash checks his ass. Was it his rights checks that his ass can't catch, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think that Allie is going to be one of his toughest opponents to date. She is so tough, and she is so used to a different breed of wrestling. I mean, GCW is different. GCW, Bussy, these guys are, I mean, they're wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like, these are the wrestlers that Thunder wants. So, I mean, if you don't hold back, you're tough as nails, you get out there, you give 100%, and that's what she does. And not just that, but she's a Texan. JP isn't. So she's going to go out there and she's going to represent the state of Texas. And JP is going to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago we saw Allie slicing up dudes in the GCW ring. So, I mean, and Holiday usually has a knife around, so or a bayonet or something.
Bayonets, yes.
We'll see how it goes.
In the corner and hit him in the head, and it's going to make the Taco Bell sound.
Yeah. Oh, JP, I'm telling you.
But I mean, it's funny because when it was first announced, the name of the pay-per-view was Bangers Only. That's a big sort of moniker to live up to, especially during a GCW weekend. And then we started to see the reveal of the card. And now that we see the full card, I'm like, no, that makes sense. That's accurate.
Absolutely.
And a good example of that is Masha versus Lindsay Snow. We've seen both of them wrestle in person a bunch of times. I've seen Lindsay a bunch of times here in Charlotte, and Lindsay is a BJJ competitor. She is no joke. Like, she is a tough competitor. And I think the world of Masha, I don't know, man. Like, I think Masha is really tough and physical, but I think she's got her work cut out for her this time around.
I do too. See, I feel like both of them have such a strong background in, like, jiu-jitsu. And then, of course, they have they do also do a little, the MMA the MMA, they do the grappling. They also have this hardcore death match, on their resume as well. So I feel like both of them are going to give as well as they get. And this is going to be probably one of the hardest hitting matches in the fact that they're so evenly matched. Just in their backgrounds, just in their training, just in their attitudes as well. They're tough. These ladies, I think, are some of the toughest women in indie wrestling right now because of the fact that they're just, if you tell them, hey, leave it all out on the mat, that's what they're going to do anyway. Exactly. It's really hard to pick a clear winner on this one. They're just so evenly matched in my mind because of the fact that they're both so hardcore. They don't hold back. They don't pull their punches. They're going to go out there and it's going to be a brawl. Yeah. That is basically how to describe it. It's going to be a brawl.
Yeah.
No
I can't wait to see it. I'm pulling for Lindsay on this one. Sorry, Masha.
It's going to be a tough
gotta go with Lindsay.
If it compares in any way to Holiday versus Genocide or Holiday versus Masha,
yes.
I'm there for it. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. This one is going to be I think the most brutal. I think they're definitely going to be. I mean, chop for chop, kick for kick, grapple for grapple. I mean, they're going to be in no holds. It's going to be no holds kind of a thing. They're going to be at each other.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
So Lindsay was on a mission this week, and great interview with Lindsay. But she mentioned that she might be doing some tattoo work while
she is.
So I put a tweet out. We were talking in our Zoom group, started joking around. I put a tweet out, reminding folks that Dave LaGreca still owes Thunder Rosa a tattoo to pay off that debt.
It does.
And it did get some attention. I think Melanie Romero herself commented on it, and I'll be interested to see if Dave LaGreca steps up and does the right thing here.
Yeah, come on, Dave.
I think he should. Dave should. I think he needs to own up to his bet. I mean, come on, Dave.
Yeah,
you should.
You made a bet. When a man makes a bet,
yeah,
he goes through with it. Come on.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I put it out there too. So, I mean, I said if Lindsay were to actually do any tattooing while she's out there, I'll get one because I have no tattoos right now. So she's holding me to it, and she said, "Okay, I'm bringing my gun. I'm bringing everything. So get ready." And I was like, "Oh, you are
shit.
okay."
Oh shit! I'm gonna put it out here, right now. If that happens, if Dave gets his tattoo on his ass, I'll get the same tattoo. But I'm not going to get it on my ass. I'm going to get it on my arm or something.
Well, our very own Sean drew up a beautiful design with Thunder's face inside a lightning bolt with a rose behind it. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Nice.
That's out there on our social. You can find it.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to go check that one out.
So lots to work with. So that's going to be a fun one. Another exciting match that I'm super stoked for to see the Hex on the card because as the NWA tag team champions, and then of course the Renegade Twins being the Mission Pro champions. This isn't a championship match, but this 3-on-3, this 6-way tag team is, I don't know, man. Like I am a huge fan of the Renegade Twins, but the Hex are super physical. And of course, Laney Luck having that match with Thunder Rosa, she's also brings the hard hitting style.
Oh, absolutely.
So, how did this come together, and what do we have? What can we expect from this matchup?
Well, there's this resurgence of women's tag teams, or actually, I feel like not a resurgence, but like there's this new renaissance of women's tag teams out there, and the Hex are just like two individually talented wrestlers. Marty Bell and Allison Kay are just so immensely talented. So, I mean, the fact that they formed a tag team, I was like, oh my God, forget it. How do we get them? And it just made sense to bring them to Bangers Only because, I mean, that's all they put on. I mean, they are amazing competitors. And of course, I mean, the Hex, I think, is going to be one of the toughest teams that the Renegades have faced because of the fact that they are way more experienced than the Renegades are. And then, of course, Laney Luck and Jasmine just have been messing with each other for the past show or two. So it just made sense. Okay, well, the Renegades call Jasmine their boss. Let's make it a 6-way. And let everybody get their licks in because I'm kind of rooting for the Hex and Laney on this one because of the fact that I think that the other three need to be taught a lesson in the Mission Pro ring. They've been kind of getting their way. They've been kind of messing with management. So I'm good with Laney taking some licks out on Jasmine Allure. But I think that it's going to be a really fun match. I think it's going to be a good match. I think in the end, Laney, the Hex, have way more experience than the other guys. So I am rooting for them in this one. I think experience is going to weigh out cheap tricks that they do.
Well, after Jasmine Allure's very brief title reign, we saw them, sort of patch things up and move on. I'm just still not entirely convinced that they're cohesive as a team, but they say they are.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hey, once you turn your back or you push someone out of the ring, and there's a little bit of sourness there.
Yeah.
One of the matches I'm really excited about is this really, really almost lopsided, but not really, is Bougie Reality versus Kylan King and Genocide. The size differential is there, but Bougie Reality has really gelled together as a team.
Yes.
So Deb, I know we were talking about this the other day about Rasha Chanel's come so far, and of course Maddie Lankowski. We've seen her all over. She was on She was on Rampage last night.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you pick in this matchup?
Me? Oh, I'm definitely going for King and Genocide. I am a big fan of both of them. Both of them have such a presence, and I've kind of watched their rise over the last year or so. So yeah, I'm definitely pulling for them.
Yeah,
Team
Bionic
Muscle
Kingdom.
Army.
Yeah, somebody got their name, Bionic Kingdom. They already named themselves. I was like, all right,
yes,
got a name. Bionic
that is
Kingdom.
great. I like that. Yeah, the motherfucking king, baby.
And I did like their promo where they were bouncing Maddie around. I mean,
You interrupted feeding time. That was funny.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I love the team of Bougie Reality. I think it makes so much sense for them to tag together, and they work so well together, which I think is going to be a detriment to Kylan and Genocide because they've been tagging a lot longer and they already have tag team moves down. So I think that unless Genocide and Kylan have been secretly training, I don't know. I think the fact that they might, the Bougie Reality may catch them off guard and try to bring them down. I mean, if it was me and I was in the ring, go for the legs, right? Take out the legs.
Yeah.
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg.
Drop them down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I saw a quick story. Tony just did the muscle pose when we caught up with Genocide in St. Louis over the summer, and she did make me do the muscle pose, and it was very embarrassing. But it's gonna be an interesting matchup. I think one of the matches I think that's more of a question mark for me is we have the new AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa facing Trish Adora. We saw Trish Adora I think 3 or 4 years ago here, maybe 4 years ago here at Queens of Combat, and she was so good. She won the crowd over. She got a "Please come back" chant, and since then she's only built her reputation up as a serious ring competitor. So I think for folks who may not be as familiar with her, they're in for a real treat here.
Oh, absolutely. If you're not familiar with Trish Adora, go look up her matches. Go look her up. She was on the PWI 500. That's the one where it's mostly mostly the men's list, but she's on there. Lainey Luck is on there. So I mean, these ladies are no stranger to doing some hardcore matches for big titles. So Trish Adora is, I feel, on that same level as Thunder, which is why it just makes sense to put them together because they both hold titles. Trish Adora has got like a few. I can't remember the companies right now, but and then of course Thunder now holds the AEW Women's Championship for AEW. But like it's gonna be. I think that is gonna be the most popular match and the most popular wait and see what they can do match because I know Trish Adora has stuff up her sleeve. I know Thunder's training, and I think they're just going to come out with an amazing match. That's all I can say. I just think it's going to be an amazing match. Oh, and yes, Trish was very good in Ring of Honor as well. Yeah. I think that is definitely going to be like a crowd pleasing match.
Can't wait.
So there's 2 matches on the card that we haven't really talked about yet. La Rosa Negra and Jody Threat. We saw Jody Threat really have an attitude at the last pay-per-view, flipping off the crowd, getting in the ref's face. Like, she was a problem. So it's going to be interesting to see. La Rosa Negra is, you don't mess with her. Like, she will take you down. So if Jody Threat brings that attitude next week, I'm not really sure how well it's going to work out for her, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And hopefully our ref, Sherry's going to be back as ref. I don't know if she's going to ref that particular match. So if Sherry does ref that match, I think that she's already going to have a little bit of attitude with Jody because she's the one who got flicked off during the match, then flicked her back. I was like, what is going on? I was like, wow. I was all, Sherry Lynn, ref Sherry Lynn, what are you doing? You did not flick off Jody.
I like seeing the refs stand up for themselves. You got to lay down the law.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be a pushover.
Yeah, exactly. And Sherry is definitely not a pushover. And then our other ref will be Chef Yali will be back with us. She hasn't been back with us for almost a year, but neither one of those refs are going to be putting up with some of the BS so that Jody can bring. So I do feel that this match is going to be the match with the most attitude. Whereas, Thunder and Trish will bring that crowd pleasing match. This match is definitely going to bring the attitude to the fans because Jody's already got, she's already got that attitude where she's the wild child. You know what I mean? Don't tell her what to do. Don't take advantage of her. Don't push her around. And La Rosa is just La Rosa. She is fire from beginning to end. And we've seen what she can do against Masha. We've seen what she can do against Holiday. So we know that she can go. We know that she can put up with anything that anybody can throw at her. We've seen her go with Thunder. I mean, she's so versatile in the ring that I think Jody definitely has a match ahead of her if she's planning on winning, because La Rosa will give everything, will leave everything out on that, in that squared circle for the win.
Yeah.
And for folks who haven't seen it, go on to Thunder's Patreon, patreon.com, Thunder Rosa. She has on the vlog, on the unedited vlog from Puerto Rico, they put the entire match up. And it is, wow, I don't know how that's not everywhere right now, because those two went to war.
Yes.
It was a great, great match. And of course, we've seen La Rosa Negra, tear it down since she came to Mission Pro. So I agree. This is going to be one to watch. And of course, we have the title match. I don't care who you are. When you're in the ring with Holiday, you better pack a lunch. And all the respect for Lufisto. All the respect in the world for Lufisto. She's a veteran, been there, done that, like death matches, the whole deal.
Yep.
But Holiday, man, she hits harder than almost anybody I've ever seen live.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, but Holiday's been on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, she came out of the pandemic. When she started, with Mission Pro, she was doing commentary. Then she decides, no, I can't. The itch got her. The wrestling itch got her. And she's like, I need to be in that ring. So as soon as she hit that ring, she has been on this roll and she has not stopped. When she said, like, I'm going to do bangers only, that's why it's named Bangers Only, because that has been Holiday's mantra. This has been her. And of course, she's our champion. So we had to go with her mantra. But like, as soon as she hit the ground running, she has been on this roll to just tear through the indies. And man, has she ever, with Ring of Honor and now MLW. And now she's like, who can we bring against her that can even compete with the level that she's at right now? Lufisto was like a no-brainer. Right. You know what I mean? The borders are open. Lufisto's a no-brainer. I think this match is just going to be so... This is what you want in a championship match, where you look at it and you're like, damn, that's good. I like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're already smiling and the match hasn't even happened yet. And it's like, damn, Holiday and Lufisto, let's go. That's what you want in a championship match. And that's what it is.
Yes.
I'm so excited for this match already.
It's going to be awesome.
It is. And I think there's a lot of people, especially here in Texas, who haven't seen Lufisto live. So that's another big draw. It's like, oh, damn, we get to see her live. And especially after being inducted in the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So like, go get your tickets, see it now. Even if it's for Lufisto, go see it.
We got our tickets.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that moment at the Hammerstein where Lufisto and Thunder faced off, and the crowd, it was palpable. Like, even at home, you could feel that they wanted to see that. So folks I think they're going to be super excited for this match, to see her in a Mission Pro ring in a championship match like this. Yeah. And it is, if I look at this card, there's your technical matches, there's your tag team matches, and then there's your brawls, your wars. Mm-hmm. And these two people are going to go to war.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that, after Lufisto's speech, especially with the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, it just makes sense for her to be in a Mission Pro ring. What we stand for, what it stands for, and what the company stands for, and our mission of going forward with women's wrestling, it just makes sense to have Lufisto there. So to have her there, to have her going against Holiday, our Mission Pro champion, it's just like that's the cherry on top of this Bangers Only. Really, it really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so folks, if you are in the area, you definitely want to be there. If you're in the Dallas area, you want to be in the room for this. Go to Mission Pro, missionprowrestling.net, and the tickets link is there. If you're at home and you're not able to make the trip, go to Fight TV and look at the GCW collect weekend. Excuse me, allergies are killing me today. You can buy either the whole collective weekend package, or you can buy the pay-per-views individually, and they're very reasonably priced. So I know we'll be watching. You guys will be there in person. It's going to be exciting. There was a couple other things I wanted to ask you about real quick. You guys have another show like 2 weeks later.
We do, because that's what we do. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah, we have a show in San Antonio, Living on the Edge. Back in San Antonio, we're going to be on the south side of San Antonio this time at the different Salvation Army, if you were in San Antonio the last time with us. And we're teaming up again with Harvard School of Wrestling for a fundraising event for the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. We raised a lot of funds. Our first show that they were able to buy new tables and chairs for the kids when they're there. And in December, we raised a lot of funds so they could give the kids a really great Christmas and give toys and food to the families. And for people who don't know, it's not just the Boys and Girls Club, but they also have an apartment building that they let families stay at to transition. So it's like 3 months of free housing while they transition from one part of life into the other. So we help provide money for that. So this one is, since we're in a different building, is to help them get their Boys and Girls Club programs up and going. So they're going to add more, which is amazing, because it's in another section of San Antonio that really needs it. They need after school cares programs, sports programs, stuff like that. So Mission Pro was more than willing to try and raise funds for it. And this show, I know you guys have already seen some of the names that have been dropped. And it's just going to be completely amazing. And I will drop this as well. I convinced, because he's back wrestling, I convinced the owner, the head trainer, Chris Marvel, to team back up with his tag team partner, and together they're the Texas Treats. So they will be on the Mission Pro show. So you guys finally get to see him in action, which is awesome. If you guys have not seen the Texas Treats in action, this is a dream tag team. You will not see better tag teaming on the indies. They are amazing. They're so fluid in their movements, and I'm just like in awe. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great April 16th show.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
So and I did see that you guys dropped the name for the May pay-per-view, Don't Stop Me Now. And I mentioned that because a group of us will be there. There'll be probably 8 to 10 of us there. There's a couple of our groups that are going to be at different events that same day. So we're looking forward to traveling back to Texas to come to the brewery for the first time. So
it's going to be fun. Have you guys, I don't know if you guys have picked up on the theme of all the names of my shows.
Yes. Yes.
You like Aerosmith?
And
even like, it's funny because like even the Bangers Only, they were like, well, how do we do the flyer? And I was like, Bangers, come on, Miley Cyrus, let's do it. So it's the Miley Cyrus Bangers. And they're like, well, that's not rock. And I was like, well, work with me here, come on.
She's working with Metallica now, so she's
there. You go, exactly.
She's in the club.
I think so. And then of course, Living on the Edge, Aerosmith. The next one, Don't Stop Me Now, is Queen. Queen.
Yes.
So I'm on a roll. I'm kind of stuck in June. We're at a 90s pop con in Oklahoma City on June 25th. So I'm trying to think of 90s rock songs.
Leave it to us. I'm sure we can come up with something.
There you go. I've been telling everybody.
We were brainstorming the other night on Zoom, and Brian said that any names have to come from the women in the group. I came up with Seek and Destroy.
Oh, like that one too. There you go. Okay.
Oh yeah. Brian said any names of the shows had to come either from me or Trenda or one of the other women in the group.
Wow, he put stipulations. I was just like, help me out. My brain is stuck.
Yeah. Y'all men don't get to name shows.
That's fair.
I love it.
Melanie,
stipulations on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a women's promotion, so I'm with it. Exactly. I agree. Before we let you go, I did see one more question here. Our very own Mogrovian Mike, Elder Mike, wanted to know how proud are you of seeing all the Mission Pro talent on AEW and WWE?
Oh my goodness, so proud. I am. it just makes me so happy to see them out there. Whether or not they're doing security or they're in the back or they get a match on Dark or Dark Elevation or Rampage, stuff like that, just to see them in the ring to get that opportunity is amazing, because you have no idea how much work that they put on behind the scenes, training 4 days a week, then doing their shows on the weekends and stuff like that. And, for them to get that opportunity, it warms my heart. And then I see, like, my daughter's a big Maddie Rankowski fan. She's got her shirt and everything. So when we turn on Dark or we turn on like even Rampage yesterday, and she's like, wait, is that Maddie? So it's just like, it's great to see the people that you see live up there on the screen and get that opportunity. I really hope it turns into something bigger for them, either a contract with AEW or a contract with WWE or a contract somewhere else. But I really am so proud of them, and it really warms my heart, especially, Roxy just got signed to WWE, and someone we only had once, and I'm the one who was like, oh, we got to get this girl on here. She's really great, and Thunder liked her as well, was Nikita Knight. And she only got to be with us one time before she had that tryout and got signed. But we are so happy for her. And I think that we just tell her every time, we're like, we're so proud of you. Like, this is amazing. Good job. Congratulations. You earned, because she's earned it. I mean, if you guys don't know, Nikita Knight is a senior in high school. And she's 18, a senior in high school. And she's been training, going to shows, and working her butt off. And, you sacrifice some stuff, during your high school period. And we all know that Roxy, same thing. She started out when she was younger, but it's a give and take. Wrestling's a give and take. So you have to give something to get something. And, the trade-off on missing certain days and certain events is you get signed with WWE. There you go.
Yeah.
You get what you put into it. And those ladies, all the ladies, Maddie and everything, Riche, everybody that shows up on Dark and AEW and even WWE in different capacities, like, they put in this training and they put in this time and they work on themselves and their characters and everything. And it's like, good for you. I hope you get all the blessings, guys. Absolutely. I'm so proud of them.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that's another reason why you should go to a Mission Pro show in person, because you get to meet tomorrow's stars today, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you never know which one of our ladies is going to get signed next. You never know. Like, those who met Nikita Knight in December, well, the next time you see her, she's signed with WWE. The line's going to be like 10 times longer than it was in December.
Yeah.
So
I met Red Velvet at a Mission Pro show.
That's right.
I mean, there's been so much. Other people have gone to NXT and WWE, who we've met at Mission Pro shows.
Yep.
So it's exciting, man. Anything else that you want us to cover? Anything else you wanted to talk about tonight before we let you go? I want to be respectful of your time.
Oh, no worries. Thank you guys so much. It's been a lot of fun. Just go buy your tickets, guys. Enjoy yourself, Mania weekend, and missionprowrestling.net. We're on all the socials. We're now on TikTok. I take a lot of behind the scenes video. I was trying to figure out where to put it all. TikTok. So I'm going to start putting a lot of my behind the scenes video on there. And it's just like some interviews, some of us just messing around, goofing off. But just a little behind the scenes so people can enjoy, and it's not all business as usual. You can see us like let our hair down a little bit. So that'll be up on our TikTok, Mission Pro Wrestling, at Mission Pro Wrestling. And then of course Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We're up there as well. I think that's it. I think we have too many social medias. I don't know what to do with them all.
Well, Melanie, I look forward to seeing you next weekend at Bangers Only. Me and Deb and some of the rest of the crew will be there live. Can't wait to see you.
Yes, we'll be there.
I'm so glad. Make sure you guys, and make sure everybody says hello. I always love it. Thank you guys for supporting Mission Pro and supporting all the ladies as well, because you guys are major sponsors. You guys also sponsor some of the wrestlers, so it's awesome. You guys are so integral in keeping this train rolling, this crazy train rolling.
Yeah, we're glad to support, man.
Yeah, and it's you always say that Mission Pro is a family, and we can tell you from firsthand experience, being sponsors is a special experience for us, and you've made our whole group feel like part of the process, and it just makes us want to support and spend more time with you guys. So thank you for that.
I appreciate you guys a lot. No, and it is. We did this interview for Austin News. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on our socials. Go check it out. And when I was talking to them, they're like, "What makes it a family?" I said, "We created this because that's what we wanted. We wanted to create a different environment for everybody, not just us, not just the women in the ring, but for the fans and for the sponsors and stuff like that. So everybody could have whether we're in Texas or out of Texas, we're let us be your home promotion. You know what I mean? Where you can just come in anytime and you're missed or you're always wanted there. You always feel comfortable. So
yeah,
that's what's up.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Melanie. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Look forward to seeing the big show next week. We'll see you on a mission this week. You guys doing on a mission this week?
We will be there on Tuesday on a mission. The mission before Bangers Only? The go home show, man. It's gonna be crazy.
A home live stream. Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Melanie.
Bye.
All right. We also have in our waiting room, we have our very own hijacker Mike.
He said he may have to leave.
He's back.
He's back?
He's back. Yep. Let me bring hijacker Mike in here. Hijacker, what's up, buddy?
What's up, y'all? What's up, nation? How you doing?
What's up?
Mike here is live at the tribute show for Kirk White. Let me show you the little bit of people that's already here online. Make some noise, BTW.
Woo!
So we are here contributing for Kirk in the Battle Royal. So we're here to have fun. Man who brought us BTW for the last 26 years. I got to get to work, guys, so I'm keeping it short and sweet. Love the nation. Love you guys. Hope you guys had a good show, and I'll catch up with you next week. Thank you, Kirk.
All right, have fun.
All right, guys. Thank you, Kirk. There it is. All right, guys. Love you. Too sweet.
Thanks,
Later.
bro.
Awesome.
My goodness. That's awesome.
I
That's
hope
a
they
lot
have
of
a good
people.
show tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big turnout. That's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great show there, hopefully, tonight. I've been looking at the poster for it.
So I know we're sort of running towards the end of the hour, but there's a couple things I know we wanted to touch on. I did want to briefly mention, the announcement by Triple H today that he's officially retired from in-ring competition. I don't think that comes as a huge surprise, knowing, or at least from what we've heard about the severity of his heart issues. And he did mention that he has a defibrillator installed. So, again, not a surprise. I hope that he finds a balance between work and home life, because that's
Right.
the important thing. But he's transitioned, in my mind, far beyond an in-ring competitor to where his mind for the business and what he's able to do creatively is of value for the rest of his life. So
Yeah.
do you guys have any special memories or any of your favorite Triple H memories?
Oh, good Lord. Just his WrestleMania entrances just were always phenomenal. Just I was watching Sledge on Twitch yesterday, and he was watching some matches, and it was, his entrances were always just so badass.
Yeah. Triple H his mind was amazing. His mind for the business, not only in his promos he gave, with DX, but his mind with NXT Black and Gold, and seeing that come to fruition, it became just about as important as WWE,
Yeah.
But a moment that comes to mind with Triple H was the whole invasion at WCW when DX invaded WCW, and doing that whole thing. I mean, every time they did a segment on TV with DX or without DX, the when he went to Vegas and took Stephanie McMahon to the drive-through, getting married, that was an amazing thing. The wedding on TV, that was amazing. When I heard that Triple H was retiring, it shouldn't have come as a shock because he hasn't wrestled in a while. But when I saw it on ESPN, there was a part of me that was like, wow. It made me stop and realize, man, we're he's still with us, of course, but he's not wrestling anymore. So it was just like it took me back a little bit,
Yeah.
and so it made me realize that wow, I'm getting older. We're all getting older, and it's becoming more apparent that the wrestlers of today are what we used to see back, when me and Front Row were younger, watching wrestling back in the day. It's like that generation is coming to the end, and it's something that just makes you stop and think. But my well wishes go out to Triple H. Of course, we want you to be healthy, we want you to be safe, and we want you to have a quality of life. That's most important, and spending time with your family and being healthy. That's what it's all about. And I know I speak for a lot of wrestling fans. We just want to say thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think, for me personally, as a fan of and supporter of women's wrestling, what Triple H did when he built an NXT was really the catalyst for catapulting the focus of women's wrestling forward. Of course, it existed long before NXT. But starting in 2012, 2013, we started to see Paige and Emma and Charlotte and Sasha, Becky, like the four horsewomen. And they started to come up through the ranks. And Triple H was giving them time and focus and energy and equal training. And to the point where people on the main roster were saying, hey, how come we're not getting that?
Mm-hmm.
Like that product influencing women performing all across the industry. So I have a lot of respect for him for standing up and giving women in wrestling that platform, specifically within NXT, and helping to set the stage for the next generation.
Right.
We're seeing his influence in all of the people who have come through NXT and gone to AEW or the main roster, and wherever they are. We're seeing his influence, and he's made the wrestling world a better place.
Yes.
And not only for the performers, but for the people watching at home, I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just all the wrestlers that have tweeted and posted on social media about how appreciative they are of him. Like I saw Johnny Gargano tweeted, he said, I'll forever be a Triple H guy. He means so much to those people who came up in NXT because he put the work in. He let them know that he was invested in them.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and we saw it. I think if you go back and watch documentaries from NXT over the last, 7 or 8 years, like Breaking Ground is one of them, where they showed a lot of the work he did. You see the Sasha and Bailey documentary when they were main eventing that Brooklyn 2 show, and he was spending time with them, and they captured a lot of those moments. Right. And it was really cool as a fan to know that my favorite people are being supported in the right way.
Yeah.
He's married to Stephanie, and they have 3 daughters, and I think that plays an influence where he might not necessarily be the same person he was in the Attitude Era, right? So that growth and evolution of him as a person and as a corporate leader has turned him into somebody who I hope continues to be in that position, or even a more influential position as the years go on.
Yeah,
definitely my love and respect goes out to Triple H and his family.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's still with us, so let's Before we wrap, there was something I wanted to mention. Have you guys seen? And this is something I think folks really need to go out of their way to watch. The new WWE series, Evil. I don't watch a ton of WWE anymore. Like, I watch it in bits and pieces here and there. I watch video clips and whatever. This series is phenomenally well done. 8 full episodes, like 45 minutes to an hour. I know we've all watched a couple here and there. But the Sasha Banks episode I watched, and it's so incredibly well done. It's executive produced by John Cena and narrated by John Cena. Vince McMahon is executive producer. Obviously, he has the name credit on there. But I heard that John Cena was a big part of the production of this. So you guys have seen this, right?
Yeah, we watched the first 2 episodes, I believe. We just watched the Brothers of Destruction episode last night. Phenomenal, yeah. WWE always does an amazing job in their documentaries.
They do.
Even if I'm not too thrilled with watching Raw, Like, I will always watch any documentary they put out there. That's pretty much the only reason I started paying for Peacock again, because you guys know I boycotted the cock for a little while. But it was like the only reason I signed up for it again was because of their documentaries and things like Stone Cold's Broken Skull Sessions. Pop Tony.
We lost Tony.
So I live to Pop Tony. That's okay. But yeah, their documentaries are always just incredibly well done. The team that they have working on that does a great job.
And you would think that we had seen and heard everything about these people. Like, everybody on the list pretty much has been well documented. But when you watch that Brothers of Destruction, there's stuff from The Undertaker, interviews I've not seen before. There's backstage stuff with Mick Foley and Bruce Pritchard, and I think Dave LaGreca's on there, Sam Roberts is on there, Peter Rosenberg, so they have the fans' perspective. It's incredibly well done, and I feel like they get the stories, but what they've done is they're telling you how the performers came up and then how they evolved into this bad guy character, the evil character. Yeah. And it's an interesting perspective that I've not seen done yet. So
yeah,
go check it out. You know, again, it's like 8 episodes. They've dropped the whole season at once this week. So that's your Sunday sorted tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do your homework, definitely. Brother.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to touch on, Monrovia and Mike told me earlier, it's been 21 years ago today that Vince McMahon came on your television screens and said that he held the fate of WCW in his hands. So it was 21 years ago today that Vince McMahon bought WCW. He bought his competition. That's another age thing. Like, I remember watching that live as it happened.
Well, I didn't. I was a little kid and my parents wouldn't let me watch wrestling. But but yes, speaking of that age thing where you realize, you know, you're getting older, we've been seeing, like, especially with a lot of the AEW people, we've been seeing a lot of the younger wrestlers share photos of when they were younger at meet and greets, meeting some of these wrestlers that they're now working with. Right. We saw a picture. Well, there's, you know, the famous picture of MJF and CM Punk, but we just saw a picture of John Silver meeting. Was it Jeff Hardy? Oh, no, was it Chris Jericho? Jeff Hardy. Yeah. And it's just really cool because enough time has passed since the Attitude Era that we're seeing these wrestlers who, you know, are now on the big time, and they were kids when the Attitude Era happened. So it's just really cool to see that, like, they were wrestling fans when they were little kids, and they have photos of them at meet and greets when they were 10 years old, and now they're working with that person. Right. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that's cool about that too is these aren't people that are just hanging on. Like, we were at Dynamite a week and a half ago. We saw Sting, who's almost legally a senior citizen, do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's wrestling at a very high level. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Jericho, Punk, like, all these people are still wrestling at an extremely high level, but you're right. They're now a generation removed. So now you have your Darby Allin and your up and comers, your Sammy Guevara's of the world coming up and getting to work with the people they looked up to. So I love that, because the idea is that you pass on that. You pass on not only the knowledge of what came before you, but then you add the flavor of today's style to it. So if done right, AEW is one of those places where they can have the perfect kitchen in the back with the right ingredients and the right cooks to make, you know, right stuff.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Anyway, that was a little tangent. I just wanted to mention that.
No, that's an excellent point. And it's funny because a great example of that was Kevin Owens meeting Steve Austin in an airport. Steve Austin giving him the advice to simply keep running your mouth, kid. And years later, here we are, WrestleMania.
Look at this.
Steve Austin and Kevin Owens are one of the featured attractions at Mania this year, and whoever thought that would happen?
Right. And oh my God, just rewatching that clip that they showed that clip on SmackDown of when Kevin Owens swerved the whole entire audience, not once but twice. That was just those people popped so hard. They were so excited, and then they were so mad.
Yes.
And then they popped again. They got him again.
I love that because KO sold it so well. Like, oh my God, he's here. And he dropped the mic and he started looking, he like scurried out of the ring. And it was so good. The second time got me. Like the first time I was like, oh no, he's just, we see what he's doing here. But the second time I thought for sure they were like, okay, well now we're going to bring him out. But they did.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh my God. It was just hilarious seeing the people so excited that, oh my God, Stone Cold's coming out.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry.
And then to see the boo-boo face when he wasn't there. That was funny.
All these people were so mad then. The entire crowd. Yeah, it was great. That was gold. And switching gears a little bit, speaking of gold, did y'all catch on Rampage last night when Hook no-sold Danhausen's curse?
Yep.
And Danhausen is gold. He was so confused. He was like, what just happened?
Did you see his Twitter response?
No, what did he say?
Danhausen, so Tony Khan said Hook is too powerful for Danhausen's curse or something to that effect. And Danhausen, of course, not missing a beat, quote tweets it and says something to the effect of, he's grown too powerful for Danhausen. Something must be done. And it was like,
Danhausen is just incredibly creative, and the way he comes up with these things, like he always has a response for everything. Like without even thinking, he has that immediate response. And yeah, he's just so creative.
Yeah, and we mentioned it, I think, a bunch of times at this point, but we got to spend some time with Danhausen at WrestleCade with Busted Open Across the Nation show. Mm-hmm. And Danhausen did, I want to say, 20 or 30 minutes up on stage with Mark Henry and Dave LaGreca, and he was so immersive. There was no gaps in his game at all. Like everything that was thrown at him, he hit a home run after home run. It was just wildly entertaining. His character is completely fully dimensional. I think he's an incredible performer. I don't care if I ever see him wrestle, and he can wrestle. I've seen him wrestle, but I don't care if I ever see him.
He doesn't need to at this point. He doesn't need to wrestle, and he's still one of the most entertaining pieces of the show. It's just incredible. Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah.
That just tells you how important social media is. Because he's able, not only be on AEW television, but he's also able to capitalize on social media and therefore gaining more popularity with everyone watching the vlogs. I mean, I know he's been on all these other vlogs, so
he's been on Ethan Page's vlog a lot recently.
Yeah. So it just tells you how important social media is to carry on the story that doesn't get told on AEW, and therefore showing how over people on AEW and where they got it from. It's because of social media. I mean, to see Danhausen coming from independence, he was on Busted Open on the Get Yourself Over segment that they used to do, and now look at him. Starks. Ricky Starks did the same thing. Ricky Starks was just as over. He had independence. And now he's in AEW, the FCW champion. And it's just cool to see. Wrestling as a whole is just amazing. We're gonna see it next week. Everything going on just shows you how important pro wrestling is, what it is right now, because there's something for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is very true. There is pretty much something for everybody just in one weekend.
Yeah.
Never mind. So much stuff happened in wrestling this week. we don't have time to get to all of it, but one of the things I did want to briefly mention, WWE put out a little video a couple days ago of Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey training together at Ronda's place.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So for those who know, if you've ever trained in a martial art, Shayna Baszler is one of the best grapplers in the world, male or female. You don't always see it on TV, but she's like legit. And watching her train with Ronda and them working through why things work and why they hurt and why they don't hurt, it's very easy for us as fans to think of wrestling as performance, and we see what's going on. But then sometimes you see a Shayna Baszler or a Bryan Danielson or a Moxley or someone get in there, and then even our jaded fandom gets thrown to the wayside, and a suspension of disbelief is there. Watching this video reminded me how very serious both of these women are, how good they are, to the point where you would just assume Charlotte Flair, being like one of the best wrestlers, one of the best superstars in the world, is gonna keep that championship. And then you see the work that they're going into working through reversals and holds and counters. I think folks need to go watch that to understand like what goes into this from a combat perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think, I've never been in that position, so I personally don't know myself, but so many of us just don't realize like what it takes.
Right. It just, you have to respect different backgrounds. I mean, people come from all different kinds of backgrounds, MMA backgrounds, martial arts backgrounds, and the way they incorporate it into their style, their wrestling style. And when you get a vision of what they did get there, it's just you just have to respect everyone's background and what they did to get to where they are now. So,
yeah,
agreed. Well, all right, folks. I think it's about time to wrap up. Is there anything else you guys want to cover before we let folks go?
Just we heard the news last night that Taylor Hawkins, the drummer for Foo Fighters, passed away, and that really hit me very hard. So, my thoughts are with Dave Grohl and the whole Foo Fighters family. Can't imagine what he's going through right now. So, yeah.
It's tough. I mean, tough situation.
It's just, when you hear stuff like that, when you hear news like that, musicians that you grew up listening to, musicians that you idolize, we had, when Meatloaf passed away, it hit a certain group of us. When Eddie Van Halen passed away, it hit a certain group of us. When Taylor Hawkins passed away last night, it hit a certain group of us. And it just,
I
never
cried
know.
for a good 5-10 minutes.
You never know, when your card is going to be punched, you never know. It's just another example of when you have the chance to live your life to the fullest, live it to the fullest, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah.
And just be good to each other. Be good to people around you. Be kind always. A good Robin Williams quote for you. You just when your time's going to be up in this world, and make the best of it.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree, and that's why we talk about getting out there and making those memories and travel, go see shows, go visit friends, go call your family, do it now. Don't put it off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of making memories, I stopped at Michael's this afternoon to buy paint, and they had a little sign there, and I took a picture of it. It said, "Collect memories, not things."
I like that.
I like it too.
I like that.
Yep.
Okay, folks. Well, we're gonna go plug into the pay-per-view that's on right now. I think Billy Ray and Onita have a match, and that's gonna be interesting. Deb, where can they find you on the socials?
At That's So Debonair, right there on the Twitter machine, and on Instagram at Truth Resists Simplicity.
Tony?
you could find me right there at Tony Justice AJFA. And if you're a Metallica fan, you know what that means.
Absolutely. And I am PW Front Row across all the socials. We can be reached at The Nation's Corner on all the socials except for Twitter, where we are just Nation's Corner. Folks, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Special thanks to Melanie for joining us. And we'll see you all next time.